So in addition to doing the perfect grade project, I've also set myself a little mission, a slightly smaller scale, a little bit easier to handle mission of doing all of the Gundam Wing Endless Waltz movie version kits. I recently got my hands on the Death Scythe Hell Custom, which was a standard issue release, and as well as the Wing Zero. Those were the only two kits from the series that were mass retail and not like P-Bandai. I already have the Tall Geese 3, which I did last year, and I've been working on getting my hands on the rest of them. Well, one that came just this week, probably my favorite one from the movie, unless they were to do Master Grade of the Serpent, which will never happen, but a man can dream, can't he? My favorite from the series, or from the film, is the Heavyarms. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of the Heavyarms in the show. I was not into the color scheme. Weapons were a little bit it just seemed very, very overkill. But just something about the design in the film and the OVA just spoke to me. Just the new color scheme, the, you know, subdued blue, black, and turquoise was really appealing as compared to the, you know, the kind of garish red and orange of the TV series version. Plus, the this version comes with the half clown mask that the Gundam wore in the final battle in the movie for a short time. And I'm really eager to crack this open and find out kind of how it works and see just how different it is from the retail release in the TV series colors, which I did, God, probably 2 or 3 years ago. And that was a model I was not super into. But hopefully that was more a matter of it being just not my cup of tea in terms of the color and accessories versus this one, which being, you know, 90% of the same model, just with different weapons and color scheme. So let's open her up and take a look. So once again, typical Bandai. All of the P-Bandai kits have this very minimalist box art. I mean, the art itself looks great. I really like this image. It's very evocative of the Heavyarms. But it's just this single color kind of teal green. Sides and etc. not much to speak of. So we won't waste any time on the box art. First up, we got our marking sheet. Water slides, typical of P-Bandai, so that's nice to see. Not a lot aside from just some warning labels and stripes, unit numbers. So I usually don't use the water slides anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant, but it's neat to see. Our A runner is our system injected runner. So we've got the head, chest plate, fins and antennae on the head, the forehead crest, some vents, shoulder. It's got these weird clamps on its shoulders, which are neat. Forehead crest, additional parts for the torso, shoulder doors for the rocket launchers, and skirt armor doors, as well as the back plate for the hands. The F runner has insides of the shoulder armors, so this would be where the rockets would fit. Backpack, bunch of rockets, like tons of little micro missiles, as well as round cylinder blocks for the knees and elbows, collar for the neck, and some thrusters. Clear parts for the eyes, pretty typical. Has the clear lens in the forehead as well as the back of the head as one piece. Got missile boxes for the legs as well as the doors, like the front panels where the missiles would poke through, as well as all the doors. I believe some shoulder parts, possibly part of a skirt armor. Feet, more feet parts. Cod piece, probably some skirt armor parts, probably some stuff for the midsection. Here we got our foil sticker sheet. So you got the eyepieces, you got the various stripes here and there, which I guess aren't color separated, as well as the clown mask. I'm not sure, I'm hoping that there's a separate piece for the clown mask and that you can paint it as an option as opposed to having to just lay the sticker over the face. I'm sure that's the case. I'm sure that there is a part for it, but wait and see, I guess. This is labeled the XA runner. So it has mostly the hands, and I think this is mostly shared parts between all of the different wing era kits. So yeah, you got your hand sets, your lower body parts, your midsection, abdomen, part of your torso, here and there, your clamp for your action base, and your skirt armor attachment points, and the forearms. The E-Runner has more rocket launcher parts, some parts for the legs, some skirt armor, mechanical frames, the chest Gatlings, which these parts will not get used because this version of the Heavyarms has 4 Gatlings in its chest and not 2. Some inner parts for the skirt armors, for the head, backpack, and cockpit frame. Polycap set. PC-205, dated 2010, so pretty contemporary with the original release of Heavyarms in 2011. Looks like the wrist ball joint and arm parts, attachment point for the backpack, probably the waist ball joint, probably where the legs attach to the body, I would say ankles, etc., etc. It's pretty standard. We got side skirts, wrist collars, forehead, and chin. One of my favorite things about this version of Heavyarms is the color scheme. I love this kind of green teal. Some armor parts, mostly legs. You got the thighs, upper legs, ankle armors, knees, shins, feet. In addition to the face and collar, this does not have the clown mask, so hopefully somewhere in here in another additional runner has the clown mask. But you've also got your pilot figures. You're seated in in civilian clothes and standing in civilian clothes. As well, you've got the upper arms, as well as a beam saber, which is a relic from the initial version in TV series colors of this kit, which had an optional beam saber to replace the left arm. Alright, we got a couple of identical runners here, so we're just going to take a look at one of them. This is runner XB, mostly frame parts for the legs. So you got your lower legs, upper legs, feet, frames, knees, joint parts probably for the shoulder, I would say, joints for the hip, slide armor part for the thigh, knee, I would say. I think much like the XA, this is probably a shared runner between all of the different wing era kits, because like their internal frames were largely the same between all of them, but there is a large section here that's gated off, and I'm not sure what was in there. Alright, so here we're getting into our first runners of unique parts for this version of the model. We'll start with the Aqua. These are the chest, the stripes inside the chest plate. They're dated 2016, so this is not contemporary with the original release of this. This is specific to the P-Bandai version. And they're just, you know, aqua stripes, but it's nice that they were included at all. But the other one is, these are the Gatling barrels. 2 identical runners for the Gatling barrels for the 2 hand-mounted twin Gatling cannons that this thing is armed with. And it's just the sets of barrels. There's no barrel openings, and there's no cannon, like handheld cannon mount on this runner. This is just the barrels. Here we've got a partial duplicate. This is kind of an interesting case. I guess because the color difference between the TV series version and the Endless Waltz movie version, they weren't able to just do a straight color swap on the runner, so this part of the runner is actually duplicated. So these parts of the shoulders, the backpack, all of these rockets, etc., are already on another runner, and they're gray. So I guess there must be parts on that runner that are used in gray, and then on this runner that are used in blue. So I'm guessing the gray parts would be the backpack, the blue parts would be the shoulder armors, probably a few others mixed in here and there. But there's also a lot of scrap parts like the Gatling openings in the chest. These parts on the original version were yellow. I don't think these parts were on that version, nor were any of this. So it's a very interesting mishmash of parts between this version and the original. And last but not least, we have our first full-size, fully unique runner for this model. So we've got the Gatling Cannon housings, we've got the chest-mounted Gatlings. You can see all 4 of them here. We've got more parts for the Gatling cannons, the actual barrel openings, and these would be the collars to hold the back of the units together. Skirt armors in different colors. You got another Troa figure in a different costume. This one he's wearing the uniform of the Marimea army, which he tried to infiltrate in the movie and didn't exactly succeed. In addition, what I was really hoping for, and I'm really happy to see, we've got a molded clown mask. So yes, I don't know how well that's coming out on camera there, but it is a fully molded clown mask part. So yeah, that's the #1 thing I was excited to see. It doesn't look like it. On the high grade version, there were 2 options for the clown mask. You had the standard face for the heavy arms, and then a swappable face with a clown mask molded to it. In this case, the mask appears to fit over the face and pegs in to the helmet behind it. So it looks like it will be removable if you wanted to. So that's cool. And finally, for the instructions, nice to see P-Bandai in this case did a full unique set of instructions for this model, as opposed to just repurposing the original ones and then having just an insert for this version. But you got your parts call out. It says you got, oh yeah, so this is what I was saying, your option parts, that last set of runners that was duplicated, all of these X's, none of these parts get used except for the shoulders and the backpack parts and a couple other bits here and there, versus on this version of the F runner, which is in gray, the backpack, the shoulder armors, none of these parts in X's get used. So yeah, they weren't able to, I guess, because it wasn't intended as a system-injected multiple color runner, so they just had to shoot 2 in different colors, which is kind of wasteful, but it is what it is. Assembly begins with the torso, then the head, shoulder armors and arms, lower body, and then onto the legs. Backpack, and then weapons, which I love these Gatling cannons. They're such 90s stupid overkill, and I think they're great, they're fantastic, and I love them so much. And then finally on the back page is just the marking guide. Alright, so I'm pretty hyped about that. I was excited to see that it does come with water slide decals. I guess I shouldn't have been too surprised, considering that the Tall Geese 1 and 2 both did as well. Or sorry, the Tall Geese 2 and 3 both did. I'm surprised it has so many self-adhesive foil stickers, but I guess those are probably for the shoulder armors and other plates here and there that just are too small to have, you know, proper color separation in the parts. Like, at least the chest plates have, you know, separate pieces on inserts on the inside. But, you know, whatever. The hope is that eventually I'll paint it, like with everything. But it's a nice looking model. It looks like it shares about 50 to 60% of the same skeletal structure as the Death Scythe Hell and all the other Gundam Wing kits, which I think I've built the complete set of TV series versions, with the possible exception of the TV series version of Death Scythe, or the TV series color. I mean, it's not the series. It's so frustrating. The only TV show version of any model, or of any mobile suit from that show that they ever did, was Wing Gundam, in straight up TV series design. All of the other ones are based on the Verka line art, the Kotoki's redesigns from Endless Waltz. So you've got, you know, like the line art and the shape of all of the mecha from as they appear in the OVA, just in like TV series colors and usually with slightly different weapons, which I've never really found all that appealing. So the fact that they never did, you know, the Death Scythe or Death Scythe Hell or Shenlong or, you know, the basic Heavy Arms or any of the other ones in, like, literally their TV series appearance, that always bothered me, you know. And it especially bothers me that all of these ones, the movie versions, are all P-Bandai releases, whereas the TV show color versions of the same models are all the mass retail. You know, that seems backwards to me. It should have been the other way around. Like, these should not have been hard to get your hands on, whereas the ones that never appeared on screen... Whatever. I've ranted about this before, and many others have as well. So there's not really much point in carrying on about it. But I'm excited. I'm really excited to get this thing together. It'll be coming up north with me as well, and I'll be working on it. And I haven't decided what else I'm going to take with me, because I got a big stack out in the other room to work on. So next up, we're going to look at something a little bit different. I found this at the local hobby shop the other day, and it's not a Gundam, it's not sci-fi, it's not an aircraft. It's something a little different from just about anything I've ever done. So stay tuned tomorrow and we'll take a look at it. So thanks everyone out there for watching, and happy modeling.